Well, I'm Doug. Zidarose for Game Shampoo, and welcome back, well, to the Game Shampoo YouTube channel. Well, this is kind of an odd case. You can see I'm actually looking at the camera, not so much like angled, angled like this, like I normally am. And use the bits here. I love my kitties. They still have at least 10 needle points on the front half, which is generally in this area. Also, for the first time, we've seen something I haven't seen since I started doing Let's Plays. Like, among the first was Nights into Dreams, where, can't remember. Oh, yeah, no, I recorded it, and then I did commentary over it. I did my best to cover that up, but, you know. Hey, you gotta work with what you can. So, Nights into Dreams. The whole reason I'm bringing it up is this thing. This is, well, a small piece of gaming history. This is the Sega Saturn 3D controller. So, Nights was released, when was that? Back in, July 1996. So I started dabbling in it that year, because it'd show up in Target and it'd have like this controller. Now, this controller would go on to actually become like the standard that Sega would work with. If I like showed you my Dreamcast controller, or seriously, just Google Dreamcast controller, or it's an evolution of this thing. And you know, we've got, thumb, D-pad, but then you'll notice this little switch. Actually, I gotta look at it. Yeah, right now it's set so it's getting its inputs from this thumbstick. If I flip it, then it'll take inputs from the D-pad. Fine, both ways work perfectly fine, and mainly of the original Sega Saturn controller, this is much more comfortable. Having played Nights a lot, like, every time my Sega Saturn battery, died, and it just ran on a watch battery, that backed the memory. As soon as that went, well, guess what? Everything you had went poof. So the fact I've got it on my PlayStation 3 and my computer now is amazing. Oh yeah, all footage you're seeing is being captured on the PC version. I don't know if future me will be going for the HD version where things are a lot smoother, or the Saturn version, given, well, I'm talking about the Saturn. What's one of the nice things about the PC version, well, the modern version of Nights. I gotta say modern, because there are effectively 3 versions of the game at this point. The first is the original, released on the Sega Saturn back in July 1996. Now, that's probably going to be the most expensive one, because it's an old system. It's antique. Yeah, if you've got the inclination, you can find rips of the game, but all the research I've done around Sega Saturn emulation is saying it's still kind of rough, which is interesting given how long ago that came out. Most of the time, time goes on, we get better and better emulators. Like, actually this year or recently, I'm forgetting which. Wait, what am I saying? I have the internet. I'm not playing a game. Here. Emulate. Hopefully that'll give me... Well, there are only so many ways to try and think of it, but the person who went by Nier, or who passed earlier this year, late last month, I'm recording this at the end of July, and they passed at the end of June. Well, they actually produced a new emulator on top of everything else they were doing, which was finishing up a new translation of Squaresoft. Note I'm saying Squaresoft, not Square Enix. So this is the 90s I'm referencing. Game Bahamut Lagoon, which only came out on the Super Famicom. So all us over here in the US, in case the English didn't tip you off, we didn't have that thing. No, we never got the game. I of course have an emulated version of it because it's always sounded like a game I want to play. I just never got around to it. Well, they released the BSNES emulator. Now, the whole reason I'm bringing it up is we're looking at how the hardware actually ran it, so the BSNES emulator is actually accurate to like the cycles, how the circuitry actually worked. Now, most of the time with like ZSNES or SNES 9X, I had a lot of games on SNES 9X or like any of the cores in the Retro Arch. It's more just kind of running the game as a program, I think. Don't quote me on that. I am not an expert on that. But Saturn has a really interesting setup since it was meant to compete with was meant to compete with the Nintendo 64, the PlayStation, and it definitely got a jump. And oh god, believe me, I could talk for a long time about the Saturn and just a simple way to put it, Sega of America was really bad at communication, and they had a number of bad breaks. Seriously, look into the history of the 32X, the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, and unfortunately the history of the Dreamcast. Now, the Dreamcast is an absolutely amazing system. Like, my favorite version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom is the Dreamcast version. There's a reason why I own Marvel vs. Capcom on, 3 systems? Yeah, PlayStation. PlayStation, Dreamcast, and yeah, I do have the digital one. At least I think I do. That's the hard part when you got hundreds of games. There's so much memory. But tangent aside, getting back to this sucker, there's a reason why I'm mentioning this controller in relation to Knights. This controller was literally built with that in mind, and this would actually go on to become very much the standard of like controllers. There are essentially two lines. There's the ones that evolved out of here, and well, the DualShock line, or now I think it's called DualSense. No, whatever they call the PS5 controller. Pretty sure it's DualSense. Yeah, this little thing would be the basis for like the Xbox controller. I mean, seriously, look at an original Xbox controller, and well, any Xbox controller. It doesn't have to be old Xbox. It could be an Xbox 360, an Xbox One. Because hey, Microsoft hasn't changed stuff too much, and we'll see the similarities. I mean, like one of I'm gonna take advantage of the feature. This is literally a feature. A little tab here, just above the power cord. Or push down on that, it comes loose. But I'm doing this because it makes it easier. On the back, you can see these triggers, which are perfectly commonplace. Back in this day, they were a really new concept, especially on the back of the controller. Or, the N64 had the Z button. Actually, hold on. Oh, hey, you're going to talk about stuff and you've got things you can show off. N64 controller. Still, like, one of the weirdest ones in terms of design. And I've futzed around with a fair number, but yeah. Z all the way back here. Otherwise you're doing this. Now, most games I remember on N64 were playing like this. But yeah, this never really went anywhere. Sorry, Nintendo. You've munged up before, you'll mung up again, though. Hey, nonsense to Wii U. You're doing alright. You're doing alright. But, yeah. Pretty much making this video talk a little about how this controller is the predecessor to all modern controllers. Just a quick little bit more of sharing Nights into Dreams. If you haven't played this game, I genuinely recommend it. It's only like 10-15 bucks. And yeah, last year, by doing a couple things for Sonic Team's anniversary, check on the internet, it might still be available. All by signing up for a mailing list and saying, hey, Steam's my preferred platform, grant access so they can literally give you a game, you could get Nights into Dreams for free. Let's see, Nights into Dreams got released on Sega Saturn, the PS2. Oh, I never actually finished listing them. There was a PS2 port of it, which is good. It's kind of the in-between. And then we've got the HD remake, which came out on PS3, 360, and obviously PC, because that's what you're seeing around me for once. Yeah, I'm putting the gameplay in post. But yeah, just want to talk a little about this. There's a fun little tidbit of history. Oh. Anyway, now I'm Doug, Zidarose for Game Shampoo, and thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and sub to this channel. And hey, toss a coin for your gamer. See you all next time. Bye.